Our next speaker, Mr. Ananyaa Wanchoo, from his early leadership experiences to graduating from Warwick Business School and leading major financial practices at Michael Page. His story is one of growth, integrity, and impact. He now continues his journey with MGX, guiding purposeful teams while staying grounded in his passion for travel, sports, and learning. Let's warmly welcome Mr. Ananyaa to the stage.
Good morning, everyone. I hope you can hear me okay. When I was a student here in the school, it was 2011, and the expectation was, this will be a few in a few months, the expectation was I'd come first in class and do the school proud, I'd get into the university I wanted to. I'd worked very hard, I was the model student, I'd helped others, and I really enjoyed what I'd done. So it's April, May 2011, the results of our exams come out, and everyone's looking for my name on that list to see how well I've done. I'm looking at home in front of my laptop with a lot of hope, and I find myself, and everybody else finds me, but just not where they expected to find me. A very nice 95 had been inverted into a 59. I was extremely angry. 59 in economics. I used to be excellent in economics. I knew what I knew, and I also knew what I didn't know. So I finished the exams, and I would know I got these 3 answers wrong, but I didn't know this, and this is exactly what I'm going to get. And that was a lot of us who spent a lot of time studying towards our exams. I was really, really angry. I didn't come first in class. Everybody expected me to. My parents, my teachers, my friends. People whom I had taught have now done better than me. God, how embarrassing. How am I going to show face? How do I get out of my room? And then my father came to me, and he said, did you get into university or not? I said, I didn't even think of that. I didn't think if I actually got into this university, which I had a conditional offer from, and I did the average, and thanks to our teachers, my mathematics scores were good. And it turns out I got into university. But that was the first time when I was really at the edge of fear. No backup plan, embarrassment, pressure. And that was one simple question. Does it matter anymore? And the answer was no. And that is, and I'll build on that as I go along, it's cognitive reframing. Looking at things from a slightly different perspective can make you realize that what you fear is perhaps in the rearview mirror, just enough path to learning and growth. The fear was bigger than the reality, and I stepped back and I was able to appreciate that it's okay, we move on. And then the time comes, but it comes now, there it is. I'm this young boy, and I have the opportunity to go to England to a university I've always wanted to study at. I've gotten in, and then I have a lot of self-doubt. I've never lived by myself. I don't know how to do the laundry, somebody else used to do that. I don't know how to cook. I'm going to England, what if it never stops raining? All these thoughts are coming into my mind. It's also extremely expensive, and I come from a humble background. So I called my mother up and said, Mom, this is very, very risky. What if it doesn't work out? What if I don't succeed at university? What if I don't fit in? What happens? Can I do something which is slightly lower risk? Something which is closer to home? Maybe I can study here or go back to India and study from there. And my mother said, what did she say? I've written it here. She said, I've planned for this and you've planned for it. Millions of people have done this before you. They'll continue doing it after you. So have the courage. You'll be absolutely fine. So I say, okay. Let's borrow some courage and trust from my mother, which I could not find within me, and go on that journey and go to university. And I get there, and before any time passes, I find myself ironing my friends' clothes and cooking for them and enjoying the rain, some may say as well. That was the second time I was on the edge of fear, and I'm sure a few of you will resonate with this given where you are in your lives as well. And then I'm in this university, and it should be rose-tinted and easy, because I finally got there, despite all the challenges which came my way. I'm studying accounting and finance. I'm enjoying what I'm studying, and I think just because you're enjoying what you're studying means you'll be very good at it and you'll enjoy working in that field as well. So I started doing internships in asset management, and I realized this is very theoretical and it's probably not for me. I love the industry, financial services, but do I see myself doing this job? And that's a very precarious position for a 20-something-year-old, because everyone comes to university. Everyone is doing the same thing. You either go into consulting, or you go into investment banking, you go into asset management, you go to the Big Four. If you're studying accounting and finance, that's the expectation of you. To do anything else is uncharted. It could also exemplify failure. And I think, and I feel deeply uncomfortable doing something for the rest of my life which I'm not really finding joyous. And I'm scared, because now all my fears are coming true. I've come here and we've spent all this money. And what happens now? How do I recuperate that? So I remember asking a few friends of mine, seeking courage from them. What do you think I should do? Because we all know I'm going to be really bad and miserable at this. They said, well, you enjoy speaking to people. You enjoy understanding people's motivations and drivers. Have you considered a career in HR? And I thought, come on, you can't be serious with the HR. Booking lunches for people and farewell speeches. Is that what I studied for? They said, no, it's a lot more than that. Think about it. And I did. And I said, this could actually be super interesting. So I moved past that fear of what others may expect of me as well. And I realized it freed me up and moved me into something I perhaps found a tad bit more enjoyable. Then I worked for nearly a decade in a business where I interviewed, I would think, 600 to 800 people a year. And I grew older and I had more responsibilities, and I was back in Dubai. And then I realized fear, which I thought was a lack of courage or something scary, in the real world is very practical. People have families to run, rents to pay, mortgages and EMIs, children to educate, elderly parents to support, houses to build. There is a sense on all of us to go on and succeed and do better. And that pushes us into this zone of, I'm very good at this, let me continue doing this. And we get into a comfort zone, and that's very normal. We get into that comfort zone because we don't have the ability to take a risk. But we also get into that comfort zone because somewhere the inner child in us, which would ask, why, has stopped asking why. Why am I going to work through this road every day? Why am I approaching the same part of my job in the same way? Why don't I do it slightly differently? We stop asking why. It's very rare, and it was very rare for me to come across someone who said, I have a lot of responsibilities, but I'm just not fulfilled. So no, I don't want something else which is exactly the same at a bigger company or on a higher salary, but can I find something which will bring me more joy because I think I'll succeed? Extremely rare to find that. And I started accepting that fear is practical, and perhaps I also need to pursue exactly the same the others have. But then I came to a point where I feel this organization where I'd worked, where I'd grown, which had given me everything, my identity. I was like the old furniture, I'd been there since a very long time. I felt as though I was psychologically cheating on them because I wasn't 120% involved in what I really wanted to achieve. I'd outgrown the organization, I'd outgrown my role. And then came a very, very difficult realization. What next? So an opportunity comes up. It's a startup, it's everything I wanted. It's a role I haven't done before. And it's not a full-time role, it's not a full-time contract. And I'm debating this day and night. I'm speaking to my wife, thank you ChatGPT for those pictures. Do I do this? Do I not? It's extremely risky. I feel like I want to do it, but I don't have the courage to do it. I don't have it in me to do this, and this is what I've been telling you for years. I need to do it, but I cannot. And she said to me, if you need to do it, do it. I'm here, we'll figure this out. Take that risk. Go and enjoy what you're doing. And so I did. And I took that leap of faith. And I pushed beyond that fear yet again. Looking back now at all these different doors, which is me at different ages, I haven't been the same person I was at 18 or 21 or 25 or 30, and I'll stop before I reveal my age. You have to continually reinvent yourself. And what's helped me do that the most is being curious about what I'm doing, why I'm doing, and so you have to stay curious and stay alive at that very edge of what you want to achieve. Today we're in a bit of a modern fear with artificial intelligence coming in, technology is changing every so often, and it's the fear of staying relevant. Is what I'm doing going to be relevant in the next 10 years, 5 years, 1 year, 6 months, tomorrow? Do I have the right skills which set me up for success? And what you realize as you think about this fear of being irrelevant is it's a very, very real fear. But it's always been there. It was there 30 years ago, it was there 50 years ago, it was there 70 years ago. The world keeps changing. If you try and drill deeper into what keeps you agile and keeps you moving, it is the ability to transform, it's the ability to reinvent. But in doing that, asking yourselves, why am I doing this? Hard work is extremely important, and it is the fundamental grounding for you, what you may set out to achieve. But it is everything. Hard work needs to be in the right direction. So you have to ask yourself, if I'm going in this direction, why am I going in this direction? Should I be going in that direction? Should I push harder in that direction? And it's very important to keep reassessing. Being agile is not the same as being fickle or not knowing what you want to do. Being agile is just being agile so you can transform and build on what you already have. Those are my cats. As I look back at the last several years, I realize I'm not looking back at progress, but really I'm looking back at perspective. That has been my biggest win as I look back. In the rearview mirror, all these edges of my life where I was scared, and this is the benefit of hindsight, it is always 2020. These were opportunities for learning something new or new beginnings, which have really added to who I have become today and the journey I'm going on. What ultimately ends up mattering then are the people around you. It's your family, it's your friends, it's your teachers, it's people you work with. And it's very important to surround yourself with people who raise you up, who give you courage, who help you build trust even though you may have none, and help you borrow it from them. And if I could share the gift of perspective with my 17-year-old self. In life, and I've written this down so I don't mess this up, you're going to be at the edge many, many, many times. Fear will change the shape and size. It's always going to be there, but remember, when you see fear, you also see growth. Choose your edge And what I mean by that is pick something which makes you excellent, pick something which you truly enjoy, because that is going to be your edge in the real world. Sharpen your tools, ask questions, be curious, and be open-minded. And remember, the edge is not where fear lives, but it's where growth happens. Thank you.